Fight fans, the following contest is your main event of the evening. Scheduled for 5 rounds, being brought to you by the MECS Pro Shop, Visalis, American Pavement and Saw Cut, FightMichigan.com, and ACSLive.tv. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise. It's time to throw down. This is First, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black and white trunks. Standing 5 feet 11 inches tall, he weighed in at 184 pounds. He's a freestyle kickboxer representing 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. He comes to the cage with a perfect record of 2 wins and no losses, with both of those wins coming by way of submission. Fighting out of and representing Clare, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, here is Ron Smith! His opponent across the cage, fighting out in the blue corner, wearing the black and gray trunks trimmed in blue. Standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, he weighed in at 172 pounds. He's a freestyle fighter representing Michigan Extreme Combat Sports, making his way to the cage for his debut kickboxing match tonight. Fighting out of and representing Garden City, Michigan.
Goes down once you obey my commands.
Go and sit and stand up in here now, come on!
Here, ladies and gentlemen, this kickboxing matchup is scheduled for 5 rounds or less. Referee Josh Robinson.
All right, here we go, fight fans. This is our main event, and we have Ron Smith of the red corner, and we have out of the blue corner Jesse Bowman. And Jesse with a huge fan base here. Loud and proud for Garden City. Oh, low hands of Ron Smith.
And they're going to get lower with those leg kicks coming in at moments like that.
Oh, he's just going for broke with these shots. I mean, he's putting everything together hard. The trouble is, if you're doing 5 rounds, it's hard to keep up that pace if you don't knock your opponent out.
Yeah, absolutely. Big, heavy knees into the thighs. That's beautiful. These guys getting a lot more clinch time here than the juniors got.
Yeah, I guess just staying active with those knees. Josh Robinson may not want to work as hard as he has had to in some of these past fights. I mean, we've had some just battles. And we'll see how long Ron Smith's cardio holds up with it. You know, when you load up with shots like that, it is really hard to keep that pace going.
Ron Smith was already complaining about something to Josh Robinson.
Probably that he's tired. Because, I mean, you just can't swing like that super wild. I guess he expects to knock people out. That's a nice jab coming off of Jesse Bowman, but that's where Ron Smith's got to return. Whoa, that's exhausting to miss shots like that.
Well, you know what? Bowman needs to take advantage of this and just settle in and throw back straight.
Yeah, straight. Right down the pipe is going to beat him every time.
And then when it gets like this, he needs to press the action.
Right. Yeah, exactly. When you see a guy that, fights in spurts, you got to jump on them when they're tired.
Well, those wild shots are not effective close in. They can't land like
that. Right, exactly. You could smother a guy's shot who's really wild.
Short time. Both these guys trying to put an emphasis on it.
Basically, what Bowman has to do is weather the storm. I mean, a guy that's throwing that hard, you have to weather the storm. Try and throw down the pipe because he's going to gas himself out. You can only carry on that pace. It's like weightlifting. I mean, you only do 8 to 12 reps typically, and then you're gassed. You got to take that break, and that's essentially how he's fighting.
Well, he's on his rear over in his corner, leaning on the cage side. What do you think that means?
Exactly. And if his focus typically is more jiu-jitsu, he may not know the pace of the stand-up game, and that's the trouble.
I really get the impression he just doesn't have a setting dial. He's got on and off.
Right. See, well, Jesse did a good job. He kind of weathered the storm, but he does have to. When someone swings wild like that, you can't pull out because then you're going to end up on the end of one of those shots. You got to go in, smother the shot, fire down the pipe. You can fire short shots, maybe uppercuts up the middle, throw that knee up the middle when he's super wide like that, maybe a front kick. I mean, just you have the whole front of him that's wide open. But just don't go straight back on someone who throws wild like this.
No, because you run out of room.
Yeah, exactly.
In addition to all the other problems you create for yourself.
I do like Jesse's jab. He's got to use it a little bit more. But he brings it back really low. You could just see Ron winding up for a big shot. You can just by the way his hands are, he's ready to just unleash like a looping shot.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bowman needs to continue with that inside kick leg because that was very effective for him. But he's just overwhelmed at this point.
Oh man, he puts just so much heat on his punches and kicks.
This crowd absolutely loving this fight.
Yeah. The adaptation that Ron has made is he actually goes outside and inside. He's thrown about 3 uppercuts this round, which is impressive because he gets wide, but then he takes that right uppercut up the middle.
For a guy who looked physically exhausted between rounds, he forgot to tell himself that he was too tired to continue here as we open up the second round. He has just brought the volume.
Yeah, but then here's his break, and that's where Bowman really has to get busy. You know, this is a hard fight to score because Bowman was busy, even though he's not as effective at landing hard shots. But Ron takes those big breaks. This is where Bowman's he's got to amp up the volume. I mean, he's got to get those points back.
Yeah, a lot of Bowman's shots are not scoring. They're landing on the arms or landing on the gloves.
And that's okay if you just keep putting them together. You know, you're going to land something, but you can't just wait. Don't wait on an opponent that takes breaks to come back, you know, at 100 miles an hour at you.
I'm starting to think this is the rest round here, or at least this half, 10 seconds.
Here, and you know he's going to go for 10 seconds straight. Yep. Oh, man, some heavy leather. You know, this is, you know, truthfully, that's not a fight anyone wants to be in, facing, you know, Ron Smith who goes like that. Because if you allow him to rest, he just recoups for that, you know, 15, 20 seconds and then comes back at you full board. And it's really hard to catch and counter some of those shots because they're so wild. You know, for Ron Smith, he may lose fights in his future because of those breaks, because, you know, he's just not doing enough. Even though he's landing the more damaging blows, he just doesn't do enough. He doesn't have the volume sometimes.
Well, if he's going to continue to train up at that Claire hot box, that's not going to be allowed. I can promise you that. Red is going to work him like a dog after a day off.
Jesse Bowman's got to understand that he's got to attack Ron Smith, and he can't go straight back. I mean, Ron Smith loves to come forward and throw just bombs.
Just slip off to the side, a check hook. The nice thing about kickboxing is you don't have to just throw the hook. You can bring that leg up right into the midsection.
Exactly. Find those angles. Don't go straight back, and that's danger zone. Oh, man, massive. I mean, he just puts everything on these shots. You can hear him from miles away from the cage.
Those body shots to Smith, those kicks.
And you could see it because Bowman's almost buckled over from those body shots.
Well, all he has to do is twitch his hips and Bowman bends over.
Oh, big
wow.
You know, those wild shots are landing because Jesse's pulling straight back.
Ron Smith continuing to slip through those uppercuts. Through such a heavy knee, slipped.
Right, and I think it's because of the height of Jesse. He kneed him right to the face where Jesse was standing straight up. I mean, his knee came up higher than his own head. And I mean, that's actually where Jesse's more effective, is in close, because he's not at risk for getting hit with those big looping shots. And he can throw short, even though the taller guy, he can throw straight up the middle.
Now here's the problem. Ron Smith is absolutely exhausted again, and Bowman is letting him rest.
Yeah, but I think, you know, some of those body shots have just taken so much out of Bowman. He doesn't have anything left to give.
Well, you got to find it somewhere. Go into your rainy day fund and get it together.
Your emergency fund.
Because this is only round 3. We still got 2 rounds to fight after
but
this,
just
Carol
the
Rowe.
way these guys are fighting them, and they're not ready to fight 5 rounds with the type of pacing that they're using. You know, this is where, I mean, you know, Ron Smith brings full hip into these shots. I mean, he's not trying to put anything together with speed. He's just trying to just go for a damaging blow.
And I'll tell you what, that left hook of his is landing every time he throws it. It's time for Bowman to figure that out and do something to at least mitigate it.
Ron Smith has got to work on his uppercut, though. He takes his hand from his knee and throws it right up. I mean, he does well with putting stuff together, and I like that he's firing up the center instead of just all wild shots, but he's got to throw it, obviously, a little more from his face.
And when you load it up like that, if the guy's aware, he's bringing his elbows and his gloves together, and it's not getting through anyway. Especially with those big powder puffs they got on there.
You know, this is Jesse's. This is where you face a guy that's so strong like that and fights in spurts. All you have to do is have an intellectual fight on your end. You just have to fight smart. You're not going to match power with Ron Smith. It's just not going to happen. And anyone in his future is going to be rare to match that kind of power. But you've got to be smart. You've got to attack him when he's tired. You've got to pivot off. You can't stay straight. Don't let him like gun you down coming straight forward.
The challenge is I'm sure they hadn't trained for that. And consequently, in the ring or in the cage is absolutely no place to try to learn that, especially as an amateur fighter. If you're a pro, you can make those adjustments because you've seen that before.
Oh, round 4, and I mean, Smith is just coming full-fledged with those kicks, all his energy. He's got the Mike Tyson back and forth wobble. And mixing stuff up. I mean, he's obviously listening to his corner, not just get wild, but throw up the center.
Well, he's also got a ton of confidence that he didn't have in the first round.
I mean, you can see the confidence difference.
Well, he's going to wear himself out playing bobblehead up there, though.
Exactly. You know, and he's got to learn not to fire his uppercuts all the way through to the ceiling. He's got to bring it back down, and that's the big thing that fighters have to learn. Don't follow all the way through with your punches. You got to get them to the face and pull them back.
See, I learned it by not even knowing it.
Pardon me?
I don't have an uppercut, so I'm safe.
Yeah.
I can't do it wrong.
Big body shot from Jesse Bowman, but you know, then he paused after. When you hit someone with a body shot, you've got to attack. I mean, it stymies a person.
Oh, on the gloves again, though.
Wow.
A lot of these shots from Smith just not slipping through and scoring.
No, but doing enough to tire Jesse Bowman out.
Absolutely.
He's so heavy. Ron is just so heavy.
The ones that do get through.
Yeah, and even if
like
you're taking
truck.
that on your arms and you're hitting your own arms on your face or your own hands on your face, it's exhausting because he's so strong. Oh, and following through is Jesse, and the crowd's loving it. They're all here from Garden City.
Now they got to keep it going here, though.
Yeah, you can't, and he can't pause. I mean, the jab not doing much to these guys. These are 16-ounce gloves, but you've got to follow up when that's your measuring stick. You measured them, you've got to follow up with something, especially when your opponent's this tired. 10 seconds left in round 4.
It's like claymation in there, though. You know, a couple of moves and then reset.
You know, Jesse did a good job, though. He landed a lot more, but, I mean, Ron Smith is the finisher. I mean, he's almost, you know, that could be a nickname for him. I mean, he hears that 10-second bell, and he just goes crazy and makes sure that he convinces the judges of that.
And that's the trouble I'm having right now. Am I convinced?
I don't know. He did a lot in that round as well, but Jesse came back with some punches together. The trouble is, you want to give Jesse some of these rounds because he's coming back against such a tough opponent, but is he doing enough? Because, you know, Ron's landing some of these big bombs. So we're going to have to see. I mean, Ron's got to just put them together, keep coming forward. But he's got to learn to breathe. He's got to learn not to load up. The key to fighting in general is you don't load up. You can lock up on some hard shots, but in general, you've got to just use speed, move your body. When you see that opening, you can tighten up. You can't be tight the entire time.
I'll tell you what, I thought he was exhausted at the end of the first round. And here we are at the end of the 4th round, and he's got the same demeanor, the same posture, but he just, in these bursts.
Well, sometimes you have to actually just even get your breathing together. And if you haven't warmed up effectively, you have to warm up in that first round so you look more fatigued than you are. You can't have that lazy jab. I mean, yeah, exactly. You're going to pay the price if Jesse throws out that lazy jab. He's just going to have to feed off this crowd energy for Jesse Bowman.
Right now, what he needs more than anything is volume and points.
Yeah. And you can hear the punches landing. And way to return fire is Jesse Bowman coming up the center and around with the left hook.
Bowman with a, backing up there and taking a big kick from Ron Smith. And
oh, man. Bowman's one of those guys that likes to fight just to hurt somebody. Everything has bad intentions, Steve.
Absolutely. And now he's looking to pick a shot. He's absolutely not respecting Bowman's punches.
Oh, man. Just a world of pain coming to Jesse Bowman just because Ron just everything loading up.
And to be able to throw that hard for 10 minutes.
Constantly. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Now a little bit of head action. He actually forced Bowman to miss twice, but he didn't return fire.
But, Bowman constantly coming back, and that's pretty impressive with some of the shots that he's had to weather the storm of. You look at the jaw hanging open of Ron Smith. I mean, that's where I'm going upstairs and knocking your lights out with that jaw hanging open.
Checking those kicks and not following it up.
Yeah. And I think Jesse's understanding how tired Ron is, but you always have to be aware because Ron can come back with a haymaker at any time. Oh, massive knee up the center. Looked like Jesse got his hands on some of them to block a little bit. We've had some great fights tonight. It's unbelievable. This crowd is just so excited to be here. Oh, wow. I didn't even hear the end. The crowd was so loud I missed the end of that round even. These guys finished strong. You've got to give it to both guys.
I wish one of them would have knocked the other out, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. When Ron learns to kind of use a little bit more speed and load up when he needs to, he is just going to be vicious. But Jesse coming back, a lot of heart, man, because he took some hard shots.
What a great card tonight,
Oh my God. Surreal. It was from the start to the finish. Every fight was exciting. I think we only had one fight that ended early, and we were actually surprised that that fight ended so quickly.
All right, into the cage, Pete Trevino Jr. with your official MECS decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for both of the fighters in this cage. After 5 rounds of kickboxing, the judges' scorecards read as follows. Judge number 1 has the contest 50-45. Judge number 2 has it 48-47. And judge number 3 has it 50-45. All for your winner by unanimous decision. Ron!
I think the discrepancy, in the judging that we're hearing is just judges scoring based on impact and not, on volume or anything else, just sheer impact. I mean, because you could hear those shots of Ron Smith probably in Canada.
Well, where it differs from MMA, you don't score. It's like boxing.
Exactly.
You don't score for hitting the gloves or the arms.
I just want to say, for it to be my first fight ever, it was an honor to make it in the cage.
It was an honor to have you here, man. Congratulations for your first fight in the cage. I'm sure we'll see more right here in the Michigan Extreme Combat Sports Cage. Congratulations to you, Jesse. And now, your winner, Ron Smith. Congratulations. Main event winner. That's your camera right there, Ron. Say what you got to say for your victory to all your friends, family, and fans watching here and online.
I'd like to say thank you to everyone that came out and watched. He is a tough kid, and I give him props. It was last minute, and he did fucking awesome. I'd like to thank Brett Spinella for I have no idea what I would do without MMA or any of my family that can watch me. So thank you guys, and everybody have a nice night.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Ron Smith. That does it for the fights here at Michigan Extreme Combat Sports Family Fitness Center. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your attendance. Please support this gym each and every day. You can come here even if you're not a fighter. If you just want to train in MMA or just train in general, please stop into Michigan Extreme Combat Sports. Be a member. Thanks for coming out and supporting mixed martial arts. Have a good night, everybody. Please drive safely.
All right, fight fans, thanks for coming out. Another outstanding card.
Unbelievable. You know what would even be difficult with that is picking the submission of the night. I mean, the fight of the night. There were so many.
Oh, yeah.
How do you
do that? That was, I mean, that's just great matchmaking.
Unbelievable.
You know, submission of the night I'd give to Mark Christopher. Knockout of the night, Andrew Cruchon.
Obviously, yeah.
Fight of the night. Oh,
any
my
one of them.
God,
the entire
yeah.
card. Let's give it the fight of the night to
Goes to Kevin Wynn for putting this card together.
Exactly
you better
what I
believe
thought.
It. All right, fight fans, thanks for joining us for Karakeo Row. I'm Steve LaFrate. This has been Michigan Extreme Combat Sports, and we'll see you next time right here cage side. Because we didn't shut it off, and then like the screen popped up, and we looked, and the record button wasn't recording, like between fights, and we hadn't touched the thing. So I'm a little concerned.
We don't know when. We don't really know when it
because we
stopped.
hadn't turned it off at all.
So it was in between this one and this one.
Yeah,
like,
it was. It popped up.
It popped up.
So did you guys hit the red button?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, well, the minute we saw it,
When we saw that it wasn't recording, we hit it.
but we had never turned it off to get to that point.
So we're just hoping. No, we're just hoping it just happened here. So we're hoping that we got this whole fight and it
Yeah, I
kicked
hate to
out.
have not have that Cruchon fight on tape.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
It didn't happen throughout the whole thing except just right there. And we hit it as soon as we saw it. I think it was in our introduction of this one.
Okay.
And then we just, but we
If there is
reintroduced.
a problem, contact us immediately. We'll lay it down on video.
It looks like you're clean right up. You got the light point. There was a long lull there, but it looks like
It's probably intermission.
And then there's a slight stop right there. You see it?
Yeah.
Right there, and that's probably the last two fights right here. So that was when you guys stopped. If it would have like cut off and created a whole new